So there is a question here. You are told to determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector of a line joining the points P, -2, -4, and Q, 4, 8. Now, to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector, what we are going to do, step one, we are given the points P, -2, -4, and we are given Q, 4, 8. That is it. Now, this is a line. This is a line PQ. This is a line PQ. P is -2, -4, and Q is 4, 8. Then we are asked to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector. A perpendicular bisector is a line which divides another line into two equal halves. So it should be at the center of our line PQ. So let's say this perpendicular bisector, let us name it KO. The line KO now is our perpendicular bisector. So we are going to find the equation of this line. So to find the equation of this line, first of all, we must find the coordinates of point O. The coordinates of point O are the midpoints of line PQ. So to find the midpoints, this is the formula. This is the formula. Midpoint, that is O, is going to be obtained by x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. That's how we are going to find the coordinates of the midpoint. So here we go. We are going to have x1 is -2 plus x2 is 4 over 2. Then we are going to have y1. y1 is -4 plus y2 is 8 over 2. Here we go. So we are going to have, that is -2 plus 4 will give us +2 over 2. And this one will give us +4 over 2. So this means the coordinates of point O is going to be 1 and 2. So that is the midpoint. This one is the midpoint here. These are the midpoints. This is the midpoint of the line PQ. So now after getting the midpoint, we are going to use this midpoint, since it is on the midpoint is on the perpendicular bisector line. So we are going to use that midpoint together with the slope of the line PQ to get the equation of the line. The first thing we are going to do is to get the slope. The slope or gradient, the gradient of PQ. How do we get gradient? This is the formula to get gradient or slope. Let us call our gradient. Let us call the gradient of PQ M1. Gradient is equals to change in Y over change in X. So this is going to result into change in Y. We simply subtract the Y coordinates of the line PQ. So we start with this one. The first one is -4 minus 8. Then all over change in X, we are going to take -2 minus 4. and this one is going to be negative 12 over negative 6. When you divide, you are going to get positive 2. So the gradient of line PQ, which is M1, is equals to 2. Now remember, these two lines, the line PQ and the perpendicular bisector KO, are perpendicular lines. So since they are perpendicular lines, what are we going to do to get now the gradient or the slope of the perpendicular bisector KO? This is the formula. We normally say that the product of the gradients of two perpendicular lines, let us call now the gradient of line KO, which is the perpendicular bisector, this one, will be M2. So when you take M1 times M2, we are going to get always negative 1. So now, how do we get M2, which is the gradient of line KO, our perpendicular bisector? We are going to divide by M1. We take M2 is equals to negative 1, divide by M1. This means we shall have negative 1 over M1. M1 was the gradient of line PQ, which is equals to 2. So we divide by 2. So now the slope or gradient of KO, line KO, the perpendicular bisector, is equals to now negative a half. Now we are going to use this gradient, since it's the gradient of this line here, the perpendicular bisector, and we have 1 point on that line, 1, 2. We are going to use them to form an equation, and we are going to use the gradient formula or the slope formula, which says the gradient M2, which is now a negative a half, is equals to change in y over change in x. So now we have point K. We don't know the coordinates of point K, so we are going to say let them be xy. And O, since the line KO is a perpendicular bisector, O already we have the coordinates. O is equals to 1, 2. So we are going to use these points now. So we are going to say now change in y, that is y minus 2 over change in x, x minus 1, is equals to negative a half. You cross multiply. So we are going to have 2 multiplied by y minus 2 is equals to negative 1 multiplied by x minus 1. We are going to have now 2y minus 4 is equals to negative x plus 1. So we come here. So we are going to have 2y is equals to negative x plus 5. It is plus 5 because negative 4, when it crosses the equal sign, it will be plus. So we shall have 1 plus 4, which gives us 5. So now divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Y is equals to negative a half x plus 5 over 2. And this is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Remember always to subscribe to my channel so that you may continue being updated, and remember to hit that subscription bell. You hit on the subscription bell and choose all, so that whenever I upload any video, you will be informed. So welcome, support my channel by subscribing, liking my videos, and sharing with your relatives, with your friends, so that we may continue assisting them in every topic in mathematics. I'm Teacher Wycliffe. Welcome.